That's why we're
not like in a sexual way only. Like learn it, touch it, massage it. Take care of it because it's powerful. Once you take care of that part of you, I feel like as a woman, you've done a great part into like your reaching your higher self.
I was gonna ask the question, but we're gonna leave that for another time. But
what question you gonna ask?
I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's gonna go.
Because it looked like you was thinking it was a good one, so I was looking at you.
She kind of said touch it, but never mind.
Yes, you have. You must touch it and feel it's yours. Why not?
Hey, listen. Okay. So this is your art, right?
Yes.
Shani, you want to hold the other one?
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
I wanted to hold this one anyways.
You like
so
that
this is your art. So basically, this is what a muse basically does. You didn't paint it, but you're the muse. You're the one who poses for the art, and the artist did a great job.
Stretch, there's this huge festival on Mother's Day. I just can't remember the name of it.
The name of it is the Art of Reggae Music Festival on May 14th on Mother's Day. It's kids friendly. Kids under 12 are completely free. That means you can bring your 12-year-old or under. Bring the kids out, bring your mom, your grandmom, your stepmom, your mother-in-law,
The whole family.
everybody. But if you're young and you're watching this, buy your mom a ticket and bring your mom out for Mother's Day. We have Wayne Wonder performing, we have Leroy Siblings performing, we got Glenn Washington performing, we got Lust, we got Romaine Virgo performing. So you want to be there on Mother's Day. This will all be at Hollywood Arts Park, downtown Hollywood at Young Circle. So the tickets are online at Eventbrite, or you can go in stores. So if you want to find all that information, go to The Art of Reggae Fest on Instagram or Facebook to get all the information that you need. This will be held on Mother's Day, May 14th, and it's coming right up in about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks.
Around the corner.
So you might want to get your ticket real fast.
Y'all don't want to miss the vibe.
That's right.
What's going on, everyone? We are back for another episode of the Student to Life podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. I'm your host, Shan, and this is my co-host,
Stretch.
And we are going to have a dope episode for you guys today, guys. Remember, we are still in the season of love and relationships and intimacy. And today, we're going to talk about a little sensuality and some other great stuff. So we have a special guest in the building today, sensuality coach Jadelle. Can you let us know a little bit about yourself, Jadelle?
Yes, so my name is Jadelle DeVerso, and I am a muse and a sensual creator, and now I'm stepping into being a founder of my brand, Femme. Soir. So I've worked as a muse for 7 years. This is something that I've done for a long time. It's a big part of my life, and being sensual is my life work. Being a sensual being is my life work.
Okay.
So what would your definition of a muse be?
Well, a muse is someone who poses for artists. Basically, she is there to inspire the artist.
Okay. And how do you define sensuality?
Basically, enjoying the moment, experiencing pleasure in the moment. So anything that, spark your mind in the moment, being mindful, or anything that can arouse your senses, it would be experiencing, would be defined as experiencing sensuality.
I think the word sensuality is such a sexy word.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, it's just so, oh my God. And the older that I get, I embrace my sensuality more. And that word is not even really used in our culture as much.
No,
It's like so taboo.
Yeah, it is. I remember people asking me, what does that mean? Like,
yeah.
I still didn't know what it meant until today, honestly. I don't.
Like, a lot of people think it's being sexual, but it's just
That's
sexual.
what I was going to ask you. What's the difference?
Well, sensuality is a whole thing on its own. It doesn't, sensuality can't exist without sex.
So basically, you're saying sensuality is like similar to foreplay in any way?
Yes, so sensuality makes, basically, yes, it's, when it comes to talking about sex, sensuality makes sex better.
Okay.
Like sensuality is all the little foreplay stuff that you do way before you have sex. Like that emphasize.
Like the tease.
Tease that makes, the connection better, that makes the intimacy better.
Okay.
So that's the thing that people don't understand how sensuality is very subtle. So it's something that you really have to be mindful about.
Okay.
So the sex could be good between two partners.
It's like a mind, body, and soul type of thing.
Right.
Okay, well, I had this conversation with somebody the other day about what makes sex more enjoyable. And sometimes it's like the conversation leading up to it, the sexting or wherever you want to put it, like stuff like that makes it more interesting and more enjoyable, or even being away from the person sometimes. So is that considered like sexting, like you sending nude pictures to your partner and stuff like that? Is that considered like sensual?
Well, yes. So sensual is also anything that can arouse your mind, any activity that you get involved in that can arouse your mind way before having sex, So some people, they flirt with each other. Some people, they sexting, some people, they go to they do other activities. They take a shower, they talk a little bit way before they get involved in that. Okay. Some couples, they cook together. So it's just all those little components that add to whatever you feel in the bedroom. It's not, some people think, once we have sex, we're going to feel it because sex must feel good.
So it's like a different type of intimacy.
Right. So sensuality is all of those things. You get way more intimate before you have sex.
It's like the sibling of romance.
Right. So, it's just like when you cook, there's all those little ingredients that you have to add to actually get the meal to taste good, right? So if you're missing a little ingredient, like the spice, whatever is not well mixed, it's not gonna taste good. It's just the same thing as sex. Sex could be good, but I think sensuality makes it greater and more tasty, more like enjoyable. There's more depth.
Now it's making more sense now that you said that. Like I said, like sometimes when you're dealing with somebody that's timid or too shy and they're not really, what do I put it? Like their intimacy level is like low, where they don't know how to communicate in that way. So the only time sex is talked about, or even sensual stuff happens, is just when sex is going to happen.
Exactly. So that's the thing I don't like. I don't like sex just for sex. Like I like when you get inside of my head, you entertain me in other ways than like touching me. Like I have to feel you inside of my head. I have to portray you when I am with you, when I'm intimate with you. I want to feel you, and I want to have you inside of my head. So all the things that led to this moment were sensual moments.
Okay.
Sensual activities.
So my next question is,
so that's what it means.
What made you want to get into this? Because this is not something that somebody's gonna be like. It's not a popular topic.
It's true.
So what makes this like interesting for you to want to get into?
Let me be honest. Since I was a little girl, I don't know how, but I was born like this. I'm gonna just say it. I was born like this. I always felt like I was gonna be into that world. I was always sensual. So I grew up in Haiti. So in Haiti, you get access to being in nature. You get access to just connect with the sun. And I was always sunbathing. I was very free. My mom was just like, "You can't be like that. You can't be nude all the time." So I was very free with my body. I never saw that my body was sexual, in a sexual way. I was just like being in the moment with myself, So, but what really got me into this is because at some point when I became a teenager, I was teased at school, and I lost the connection that I had with my body. Okay. So I became a muse to connect with myself. Okay. And to love my body again, to heal from trauma, like from those, abuse that I had about my body. Right. So that's how I turned into that world again. And also, I have to say, I'm also a writer. When I started writing at 14 years old, so like my writing is what pushed me to become like a sensual creator, posing for my work. And also my insecurity with my body is also what made me.
So the writing kind of helped you to discover,
because like my writing, I'm like, wait, I can pose for my work. I can actually create like short skits or something, pictures to match my work. Right. So I started taking pictures, and then I got involved into the muse world, and that is what brought me into that sensual world. Yeah, that was the connection.
That's very interesting.
Did you read a lot of sensual books growing
Yes,
up?
I did.
I
lot
read
of French
a lot
books.
of sensual books.
A lot of French books. I don't remember the names now. It was just so long ago.
I don't either.
But Harlequin, I don't know if you guys know about them. I read them a lot. There was another one. It's French, but I forgot. But yeah, I read a lot of books and also watched movies, sensual movies. Like, I can tell you my entire teenage years was about discovering myself in that way and reading these books. So I was always into like
I've never read storybooks.
reading.
Memoirs I'll read, but storybooks I never really got into.
Fantasy books and stuff like
Fantasy books, I never got into none of them.
You should have.
No.
Let me tell you.
It changes your life.
It changes you, and you should at least once in your life. You know what I used to do every summer? I used to just read sensual books every end of summer, not the beginning of summer.
As a beginner, what would you recommend?
I use, well, I have to search on my phone because I don't have a good memory. I don't remember all the books I read, but I have some good authors I can refer you to, like Anaïs Nin. Anaïs Nin is a French erotic writer. I would definitely recommend you to read her because like she has a collection of stories in one of her books. I think it's called Delta of Venus.
Is it English?
Is in English.
Okay.
This is gonna be like so shocking to you to read how like to read her. It's like she's gonna open your mind basically to like different sexual desires that people have. So I read all the collection. I was like, okay. And she influenced me a lot to write her in like crazy stories. So she was like, I was very influenced by her writing, her style. So my style is kind of similar to her. Like when I'm writing about certain stories. So I would I'm gonna show you the book so you can buy it. You should read it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you ooze feminine energy, and it's like it's powerful. I like it.
Of course, you're talking about this energy thing.
Because everything is energy. What do you mean? Everything is energy.
You are a living being right now. You are.
I know that, but the way you talk about this feminine, masculine is like
everything is energy. Come on.
So, you spoke about on your page sensuality you can make a woman more feminine. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes. So basically, because you tap into this depth, I think sensuality brings you closer to your inner self as a woman. So there's different ways you can explore yourself. Okay, there's different ways to become sensual as a woman. So like for me, it was through my artwork. When I started, it was to like posing nude and also taking nude sensual work. And that's something like anyone would have to do to understand what I have experienced. Like doing it over time brought me closer to my softness. Like I just don't know how to put it into words. It's just something that just happens, you know? But there's certain activities, of course, you can do as a woman to be more sensual. Like taking care of yourself, like sensual self-care, you know, like doing your hair more, like putting your makeup. That brings you closer to yourself. But there's other things that are way deeper, I believe, that a woman should do, and it's to connect with your entire self as a woman.
What about on the male side, though?
It's the same thing for me.
We're not connecting with the feminine side.
I mean, sensuality will bring you closer to your femininity as a man. I mean, to your feminine side. Let me just say feminine side as a man, because we are both. I don't know why, you know, there's this thing online where people just preach being feminine to a woman and being masculine to a man. But like me, I always preach to create a balance within yourself, within your masculine energy and your feminine energy, because I believe like you need both.
Yes.
Okay? You need both.
We do need both, but I think some people misplace both.
Yes.
They use it at the wrong time.
At the wrong time.
Place it in the wrong places.
As a woman, you can be assertive.
Yeah.
You can speak your mind. You can say what, like me, I'm very assertive. When I don't like something, I'll say it, but I'll still sound like a woman.
Okay.
I'll still say it as a woman. You know, there's just a way to do it. It's just about the way. It's the how.
It's the how, right. Sometimes stepping in that role, like when we speak about men having a feminine side or a feminine energy, we're talking about just even caring for somebody else out. Now you're like, in a certain way, like if you have kids, it's going to call for you to have a feminine side to deal with them a certain way if the mom is not present or stuff like that. It calls for where we don't talk about that enough, where men sometimes have to turn off that aggressive side to be this soft person with your daughter or your son. Or
I would say nurturing.
Right.
You know, I think that's more suiting for a man.
That's the word to explain.
Like I would say.
Just to let you guys know that we are in season 2 of the podcast and we are now accepting new sponsors. Any sponsors that want to reach out to us to collaborate and to get your business out there, please let us know. Reach us at the Student to Life Podcast at gmail.com and also on Instagram at Student to Life Podcast, okay?
We all have compassion. We all have this nurturing side of us. Can you believe a man that never shows vulnerability? That's not like relatable. Everybody have that in them. We all have love, compassion, vulnerability. We all wanna be kind to each other, despite what most people think. So I think these are the things that could bring a man closer to his feminine side. It doesn't mean that you have to be feminine, like act like a woman.
That's
those
why
are the qualities that a
right.
woman have that a man can incorporate into, and his personality, his
That's why I said it's misplaced. Because
yes, people don't use the proper terms to explain it. We're not telling men to become like women. We're telling you to use some of the qualities that women have. Like we are nurturing beings. We want to take care of people. We want to help. We want to be compassionate. We want to be kind. We want to show love and support. That's what we're asking men
And that's
to
what
do
allows us
more
to
of.
connect.
Right, and I think sometimes it's not really the fault of like a man, because sometimes it's what we were taught. Like we were taught to be not cry, not show emotion.
This is the problem.
Be
this
tough.
is the problem.
And that's passed down from the days of slavery
It's
until
not right.
this day. So this generation now, we're trying to break certain curses. That's why we're doing the podcast.
Yes.
So we could, educate people on stuff like this. Like it's okay to show emotion.
It's okay. Like I'm a highly emotional person. Like I'm highly emotional. I feel things so deeply, and because I can feel so deeply, I can relate to other people because I can feel their pain and their happiness, excitement, whatever it might be. I can feel it. So because of that, I'm very, I can relate to most people.
Now, what I don't
Different
like,
walks of life.
what I don't like is a man that is too in touch with the feeling, everything, is just feminine about them. I'm not talking about a person who's choose a different lifestyle.
Right.
I'm talking about a man like you want to be a man, but
A heterosexual man that taps into his femininity.
too much,
Too much.
way too much.
For me, my preferences have always been the masculine men, but was also a well-balanced being. I grew up with my father, and let me tell you, my father's my hero. My father passed away last year, but I felt like even if he passed away, I still feel my dad inside of me.
Right.
His energy, everything he's taught me growing up. But my dad built me, my character.
Right.
So I really love my father because he was able to not only be a masculine man, but also be a very caring father, very present in our lives. So I look up to him, and I always look for those qualities in any man that I'm around.
Right.
As even if you're my friend, you're my man, you're like, I like you to have the qualities that my dad had, because
It's interesting that you brought up your
amazing.
father, because a lot of the reasons why women can't tap into their sensuality and their femininity is because they were raised
exactly.
without fathers. And I always thank God that my stepdad was in my life for the most important part. So it definitely allowed me to see what it's like to be taken care of and loved on. And a lot of women, they haven't received that. So they operate more in that masculine because they're in that protection mode of themselves.
And it's the same thing on the other side.
Yeah.
As men, like a lot of men grew up with their moms. So all they know about is how to react with their feelings and not be a man and stand on your word and stuff like that. Like your father teaches you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
How to take responsibility, how to
Be a man.
Yeah, basically be a man.
Yeah.
And sometimes when a lot of these broken households are what's like throwing everything off balance.
Right.
So I feel like that's the root of a lot of problems that we have. We have a parenting problem and we have a family problem. Because back in the day, these little kids, the stuff they get away with, we could not get away with that back in the day.
Yeah.
Because our parents made sure they were being parents. I grew up with both parents in the household. I had a balance. You know what I'm saying? My dad is a macho, manly man.
Yeah.
And my mom is a woman, like, all around.
Yeah.
Even though my mom still had her masculine side where she had to get certain things done and take charge.
Yeah.
But I saw both sides of that.
Right.
A lot of guys don't get to see a man in the household taking care of the house. You know, I saw my dad get up every day, go to work, or, you know, get stuff done around the house as a man, and he taught us that's your responsibility, to get up every day, make sure things are taken care of, protect your sisters, protect your mom, protect the women, stuff like that. We were taught, not only by him teaching us, but just watching him do it. So I feel like a lot of guys just don't have that. And now I always preach to my friends that are in relationships. I'm like, if you find something good, maintain that, because we need more of that.
Yeah.
We need more family structure in our community, because we don't have a lot of that. The family's been broken down more and more and more now, because there's so much things fighting against us. There's so much things going against our, you know, our society, basically, our black community. There's so much things going against us, and I feel like a way to fix a lot of that is to bring the family structure back into our culture.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
To show that dynamic. So I wanted to go. You want something?
I just wanted to add, like, we need to bring back core values and what's important in our lives. Like, I think this is what we're losing, like the meaning behind having a family. We probably don't remember what that means anymore. Right. And if we bring back core values, like what's important, what's significant about having a family, I think we can get,
It's lost in the sauce, because, like I said, social media amplifies. If you realize the negative gets a lot more attention than anything else. So it amplifies everything now.
Yeah.
So if it's divorce, if it's breakups, if it's dysfunction in relationships,
they promote that way more,
especially in our community.
True.
If you see a perfect family on TV now, it's a white family.
A good example is Ciara and her man, like how people just like get so angry.
Right, they always try to find a fault.
This is so weird.
Right.
Like, two people love each other, they get together, they have a family, they have businesses together, and you guys are against that?
Yeah.
The man love his woman?
They're trying to find a way to find a flawed thing
I never understood that
relationship. So that's why I think that's the biggest issue we have is, if you don't see that within yourself as that is a possibility, you've never seen that before. That looks weird to you to see. If it was a perfect white family, you look at that as that's what it's supposed to be. A white family with mom and dad and kids. If you see that in a black family, you're trying to find something flawed in that, because you're not used to seeing that.
They don't criticize the other cultures.
Exactly. We don't normalize.
I don't understand that. Like me, I grew up in a family where my mom was always present, my dad was there. Like, I'm so used to having both parents around. When I came to America, it was like a shock to see how people don't embrace that more. Like, I don't understand that.
Oh, we kind of switched the topic a little bit, but I had to get that out.
So, earlier you spoke about, when you were younger and you just loved being nude, right? And you didn't use the word naked, and I like that because there's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So, to tap into that and also to tap into your work, your artwork, can you explain the difference in it while also letting us know about your ebook, and more about the muse and stuff?
So the difference between being nude and being naked is, like, when you're nude, you're almost not aware of your nudity. You're just being in the moment. The moment you become aware of being nude, that's when it becomes nakedness. So nakedness it'll be like, I'm here, around you guys, I'm walking and I'm talking to you guys. Being nude would be that. Just, I'm here, I'm talking to you, I'm sitting next to you, I'm naked, but like no one is looking at me. Oh my God, look at her body. Right. Everybody's like talking, but that's being nude.
Basically making it normal.
It's like, the normalcy of it. But if somebody walks in, a stranger I don't know, and I run away from here and I just go in the back, that's when it becomes nakedness. Like, I'm aware of my nudity.
Yes.
Like, I feel naked. Naked is way more vulnerable. Feeling naked is feeling way more vulnerable than being nude. As you can see in my work online, I'm standing strong. I'm like looking towards the camera. I'm nude. I'm nude. I don't feel naked. I don't feel like any vulnerability, really.
So it brings
Yeah.
nudity is more about confidence. Being a nudist is a confidence level that you have to have. Gotcha.
Muses are, this is when they refer to muses, they say, we want to have a nude model. There's a difference. And everybody says, I want to get a naked model. Like,
so I love that because in my hair, being a hairstylist, I've had naked shoots.
Right.
When I was in the beginning of my career, I would do nothing but nude shoots.
Right.
And have my models be naked because I wanted to focus on the hair. And I would find a way to block, the areas.
Right.
But I wanted them to have confidence within their body so that they can have confidence with their hair as well.
Right.
And I remember helping them to kind of gain that confidence with being nude on camera. So I just think that work in itself is just super beautiful. I love it.
It is.
So about your ebook, tell us about that.
So I, as I was stepping away from being a muse to brand myself, to promote sensual lifestyle and like being a sensual creator and all those good stuff, I was like, I want to write an ebook because I understood the struggles of people in that world and someone starting out not having the tools, to begin in that world because there's not much support, especially in the Black community. So I was inspired to write this book since I've been writing this since 2019. I finished it I think in 2021. Finished it in 2021. So it's just a story of how it started, and it's like a blueprint for anyone who wants to follow the same steps that I made, how I did it, how I protected myself, how I made money, how I branded myself to become, who I am, the boundaries I had, how I learned to say no to certain, advances. So everything's in this book. This is my whole muse life.
So being a muse and a model and even an author, does this bring you like unwanted attention?
Sometimes, yes.
So sometimes you get some attention that you're like, that's not what I'm going for. But I think it's inevitable.
You can't get away from it because everybody has a different idea of what a muse is, especially when it involves being nude. So because of our backgrounds and how we all perceive things, our education, I think everybody see it in a different way, and then I've learned to accept it. It's not something you can really change overnight. It's something that you can only change with education, like we're doing right now, by talking about it, expressing, my path, like what I went through. So that's the only way we can help change certain perceptions.
Right. So as a man, we will see things like even by going on your Instagram or something like that, and seeing that the first thing they're going to is just the look and not trying to really educate. Because I went on your page and I'm looking, I'm like, this is actually useful stuff. Because I'm looking at more of the information that you have on there. So I wasn't too distracted by just, like you said, the nudity that was on there. I was more like, oh, okay, this is useful things that I can probably use. So what advice would you give a man that's trying to be more sensual with a woman?
Sensual with a woman? That's a good question. To be sensual with a woman, you really have to tap into who she is first. Like, you really have to understand who she is. Because sensuality is like, it changes per person. Everybody have their own ways. There's a different variation of how to be sensual, Like me, I'm a softer, subtle person. I don't like anything brash or aggressive. Even in the way I speak, you can see, like, I'm very, that's how I speak. So, you have to get to know the woman first. I mean, you can still be nice, get to know the person, but get to know her, and then I think you're gonna find out what's her style.
Okay.
Then when you know her style, that's when you can start being step into her sensual style. I'm gonna tell you about me because I'm me. So I love when a man take me to a spa. That's my sensual style. That's how I experience sensuality. I go to a spa. I love sensual self-care, like when you do the whole facials and getting massages and we're next to each other, we're talking. That is super hot to me. I like erotic massages. Like if I'm connected to you in that level, we can do all those things. But like I said, you have to understand her style first.
Right.
Because everybody have their own language.
Love
of
language. Ooh, see?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Right? Right?
I get that part, but this is the next question that follows
Right?
that, right?
So you have to understand her love language.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next question that follows that is there a time when it's like too early, like you're dating somebody, right?
Right.
Is there a time where it's too early to bring up like talks about sex or even mentioning sex at all? Because sometimes the mention of it turns some women off.
I think it all goes on your connection. There's no too early, too late. It's for me. It's all about because let me tell you why I cannot just like define this for everyone. Everybody's different. We can never have one way of doing things because we're all different. But for me, it's all about the connection and the depth of the connection. How deep is it? So like if it's already like hot, I don't know. Listen, if it's already there,
You sound like me.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very blunt and I'm very honest. That's why I think a lot of my escapades or relationship or ventures, I'm still connected to these people, even if we didn't end up together or whatever, because we're honest with each other from the beginning. So I'm not gonna hide my feelings or desiring you. I'm not like that.
It's like you're playing into my other questions. It's like
I'm not like that at all.
I personally feel like honesty is a form of sensuality.
Yes,
the way you explain it.
It's a very good way of being
the more
intimate.
open and honest you are, the more fun
It is.
sex can be and sensuality can be because now you're open and your guards are down.
Yes.
I feel like when you're too guarded, it takes away a lot of the fun out of what it can be. Because I was watching something today and the girl was basically saying, it didn't make sense to me. I don't know if this will make sense to you guys, but she was basically saying, on the first date, even if the connection is there and the girl is honest about how she feels and she wants to give it up in that first date, the guy is supposed to be like, no, and hold out and drop her home.
That's confusing.
And exactly. So to me, I tell a lot of my female friends that like, we talked about this on the podcast where it's like, if a man takes you out or if a man is interested in you, in his head, he's thinking about all the ways he wants to have sex with you. And that's the fact. If a man don't look at you and be that attracted to you on the first date or when he first sees you, then there's a problem. Because we men, in our head, we're very simple creatures. I'm gonna take her out, make her happy, and I want to have sex with her. If she's giving up the first night, we don't want to say no. We're already interested.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So what do you guys think about
I
that?
don't think most men have that discipline to be like, no,
I do, but not if I'm interested. Like if I don't want it, if you're not somebody I wanted from, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. But if I take you out, automatically, I want.
Yeah.
This is complicated. Like, you don't want to appear as you give it up to everybody because it like I said, it's different. The connection, you cannot have the same level of connection with everybody. That's what people need to go by, not giving it up on the first date. You're skipping something. You're skipping the most important thing, which is the connection. The connection I have with you, I don't have it with everyone that I meet. That's why I'm here in the first place. Maybe it took me 12 years to meet you. Maybe it took me a couple months to meet that one guy.
But what if that connection is there on the first date?
That's what I'm saying. If it's there on the first date, like I'm the kind of person. If I've been speaking to you for, like, let's say a month, like I don't know. I mean, my way may not be your way, but like I don't see why not. I've never done that. Let me just say that I've never actually met someone where I've been intimate with on the first date. That has never happened for me. It hasn't happened for me because I wasn't the person that I am now. I wasn't the person that I am now. Let me just say that. Hasn't happened for me. But I think in the future, probably, like, why not? Why do I have to...
I think that...
play hard to get... Like I said, it's different for everybody.
I think that you can be a sensual person and a sexual person and also know the difference between, just because I'm this sensual person doesn't mean that I'm going to just give my body to anyone. There has to be that connection.
That's
and
what
if that connection is there, then the connection is just there.
The thing is, for me, I don't go with an expectation. I don't go expecting it to happen this
Right.
time. Because like the dude said on the podcast, I want a vagina that's what wants me. Like, you know, it has to want me as much as I want it. So it has to like me.
Yeah,
when I touch it, it has to be moist.
It has to connect.
Right. It has to. This goes to what I'm saying. The connection.
Yeah.
Am I gonna have that connection with every single person? It absolutely. It cannot happen.
Yeah.
It's
And the
just,
crazy thing is, at an older age, like when I was younger, it didn't matter. Connection or not, doesn't matter.
I think right. It's also
now,
about your age.
As I'm
your
older
values.
now, it's like, if I can't hold a conversation with you, if we don't have any type of connection, it doesn't make
Right.
sense. I don't get aroused like that. So now, at the point where I'm at, your mind, I'm more attracted to your mind than anything else.
I realized that I was sapiosexual.
Me too.
I am. I am now.
Yeah.
Before I was like,
I changed.
Before, I think I was at a point in my life where it was like my first heartbreak, and I was like, I didn't care. It was more like, I'm gonna just have fun and just get it out of my system. But it gives you an empty feeling when you're doing it without any connections. It gives you a very empty feeling. But when you get older now, you start to understand the different feelings that you're feeling. You understand how to go about moving a certain way. Because like we talk about, energies are very important. Once I have sex with you, my energy mixes with yours. And then that interchanges in that way. I've seen it happen where I'm messing with somebody and then everything started going out of whack. Like my whole life is going off balance.
So that energy was off. It wasn't aligning with you.
And once you cut that
so
off,
real.
Yeah.
So real.
and once you cut that off, my life started going in a different direction.
Yeah.
So I've seen that happen too many times, and then I've started learning as I'm going. And when I hit like around 27, 28, starting to recognize these things and just pick and choose the energies that you decide to mix yourself with. And that's, for me, I tell my friends all the time, if I can't have a conversation with somebody and get deep into deep conversation, if we're on the phone and there's a 2-minute silence on there where nobody's talking and there's no conversation, I'm not attracted to that.
I understand exactly what you mean. That's just how I am too. Like being sapiosexual, like I think it's because of my father that I became this way, because my father was always talking to me as a child and teaching me things, and so I became naturally attracted to any man that can talk to me and teach me things and show me anything, that I need to learn. So that is something that's very important for me. Having deep conversation is like so intimate. It's just, like, I love that.
And that's sensual also.
That is sensual.
Yeah.
So that is already a turn on for me. Yeah.
That's why there's phone sex.
Yes.
Hey.
Well, I mean, if you're connected to someone, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
If you're connected to someone, it's going to work.
So,
I mean, eye contact too. Like eye contact is a form
eye
of.
contact is.
This is the question that I was contemplating if I should ask this question to that.
Okay.
So, on the sex side, right? Is it possible to be sensual with somebody and they still get like an orgasm, man or woman?
And I don't get it. Like
Be sensual, not sexual, sensual, and that person still gets an orgasm from being sensual.
just without sex or without touching.
Sex. Without sex, that's
It
being.
can happen. It can happen because it's mental. And that's the thing that people are skipping that part. Like me, I'm very mental. I've had that with one guy once where we've never actually met. And I was so aroused by him. And my whole body was functioning without. Everything was happening. And we actually we never met. We never touched each other. We never.
Just from
Till
conversation.
this day, we never,
Just from conversation.
Just from talking to each other, it's like crazy, hot.
Like electricity.
Electricity, and that's the only person I've had, that's the only time I've had that with. That's the only time I've experienced that. That's what I'm saying. It's very unique. You can have all these emotions for everyone. Everybody makes you feel differently.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the only person I've experienced that with. Like where I'm very hot, he's not there, and I'm like really, and he feels the same thing too. And we don't even have to touch ourselves, and it's just that emotion, that the electricity is there.
That's
so like
that
I said,
spiritual being.
it's crazy. Or bodies.
I've only seen that with one person. I've only experienced that with one person.
It's not. Yeah, you can't get it with everyone.
The
It's
thing
rare.
is,
Yeah.
with her, it was more like as soon as if I should even like give her a certain type of look, she start doing this. Yeah, I've never experienced it. I thought it was weird at one point. But she was that aroused.
It's real.
It was crazy.
Real.
I never saw nothing like that.
Because sex is mental overall.
It is.
You know, because if
it has to happen here first.
Right. When imagine having sex and something crazy happens. You can't be in the mood anymore because your mental is now off of what was going on in the moment. It starts with the mind. So that it actually, his question kind of formulates into the next one.
This episode of the Student Alive podcast is sponsored by Vintage Florists and Events. For the Valentine's Day flowers, for your Mother's Day flowers, for your Christmas, your anniversary, whatever you need these flowers for, these teddy bears, whatever arrangements, you could hit up Vintage Florists and Events.
Yes.
The number to call to make orders, place orders, or for more info is 754-423-4673.
The difference between intimacy and intercourse.
Right.
So if someone says, I was intimate with this person, it doesn't necessarily mean you had intercourse. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Because being intimate, like we were saying earlier, it's all the things that you do. You can, like I've had a lot of intimate friendships where, we talk about things, we're really close to each other, we like I'm talking to, we speak and we have, we share eye contact and then the person touches me. All of that is very intimate. Like you can have that with someone and not have sex with them. Sex is, the last step of it all. Like that's when you take off your clothes and you go all in. But intimacy is just connecting on a deeper level with someone. It involves cuddling, it involves talking, sort of closeness between two people. So that's what intimacy is. So, and that's why sensuality makes being intimate even better. And you can be sensual and intimate without having sex. There's people, I've experienced that actually with one guy once, and we never actually had sex because I didn't want to do it. He never crossed the line, but we were intimate with each other. So intimacy also involves kissing because that's part of.
That's what I was going to ask you. Different forms of intimacy.
Yeah, kissing, eye contact, like reading a book together, watching a movie together. When they say Netflix and chill, the chill part. Like sometimes it doesn't always translate to having sex. You can have. You can be next to some
The booty rubs.
What they're talking about is what people are really mainly saying is that I want to be intimate with you.
Yeah.
And then sex because intimacy leads to that.
Yeah.
But we naturally crave intimacy as human beings. We want that human interaction. We want that closeness.
Yeah.
We want to feel connected. So that's what intimacy does for you.
So it does gift giving. Is that considered sensual or intimacy?
That's a love language.
I mean, it can be said intimacy, gift giving. Can be considered.
Yeah, that's a form of intimacy, I would say.
It is.
And it's a love language too, though.
Definitely
it is.
a love language.
It's a form of.
It's not really mine because I've never really.
It's a love language for sure.
I'm just learning how to accept gifts from people. I've always been like the most independent.
I kind of was like that too.
Person.
I think it's more of a love language that you do with someone you're intimate with. You see?
Even if I'm in a relationship and they try to do things for me, I'm like, nah, I'm good because I'm always so used to doing things for myself. So it's not really it's not for everybody, but for me, I'm learning how to just accept compliments, to accept gifts, to accept stuff like that. Because growing up, high school, primary school, which you guys maybe consider elementary or middle school, I had I wouldn't say low self-esteem, but more like low confidence. So giving me a compliment at them times was like, you lying.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's probably something that you had to deal with? Maybe some sort of thing you went through that made you feel that way?
Not necessarily. It was more like the surrounding. It's the surrounding.
Okay.
If you're not strong mentally, they'll talk you down to, you know.
So another one is words of affirmation.
Yes.
It's a love language. And so probably now that's a love language for you, but before it wasn't. Like, it wasn't like...
No, I didn't have a love language before, to be honest with you. Like,
Probably just physical touch. the
For me,
regular.
it
Not
was always
even.
quality time. Like, that's me.
Quality time is mine too.
in like younger, like high school, like coming up to like high school, for me it was like a most like hopeless romantic type of thing, where I wanted the perfect situation, like love and
What's
relationship.
your sign?
I'm
Cancer.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes
I
sense.
don't believe in any of that. Why y'all give me that? I'm
I tell him that all
We're
the
not gonna get
time.
into that. This gonna
I
be.
tell him
this
that
gonna
all
be,
the time.
That makes
This
sense.
gonna go off into a whole
That
nother
makes sense.
topic.
All right.
That's a whole nother topic because I don't believe in none of that. But after you get certain experiences, you realize that you have to learn how to operate when it comes to different people. The perfect love might be there, but understanding, like we always learn about the happily ever after. Nobody talks about ever after.
Yeah.
You know, because some parts of that happily ever after is not happy. We don't always talk about that. The
is
arguments,
so true.
the disagreements. You know, we don't learn conflict resolution. Like I learned those things after the fact.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought happily ever after was just happy and dancing in the
And
roses
there's no, fire in the flame or whatever.
You
Yeah.
just feel like it was just paradise,
Yeah.
happily ever after. It was just the romantic love that everybody talked about. Nobody talks about the arguments, the disagreements, the fighting.
True.
All those things nobody speaks about in the ever after. So in high school, those times I'm fantasizing about this perfect love that I'm supposed to have. Then you get into it and like, okay, this is not what it's
the
talking about.
actual work.
Yeah.
And I also felt like I feel like love is not supposed to be work. I feel like if you meet the right person, now you have a partner to go through everything with. So if it's disagreements, you have a partner. Me and my friends, we disagree all the time. All the time. But guess what? Our friendship stays together. You know what I'm saying? Now you have a partner to go through things with. If I go in a relationship and every day is constant work, I don't think that's the situation I need to be in.
Somebody needs to heal. Someone is out of balance. Yeah.
So I feel like if both sides do the work to heal themselves, then relationship becomes this partnership, not just something that you're getting up every day to work on.
Yeah.
People always say marriage is work. No, marriage is supposed to be a partnership.
Yeah.
Where any work that's happening, both of you guys are doing it together.
Yeah.
So this workload becomes two people instead of one donkey carrying the load. It's two donkeys carrying this load. Now it's lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You get
I
what I'm
agree with
saying?
that.
So I hate the misconception of this is supposed to be work.
Right.
No, this is supposed to flow. And your partner is supposed to make it easier.
Is necessary.
So that's just what I think about that.
So
I agree.
we are, we're thanking you for coming on, and first of all,
Sure.
because this was great information.
This is different.
Yeah.
A lot different from what we're used to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Also, we want to talk about your rebranding. So can you let us know
Before
about
we
that?
get to that, because that's going to be like the
Last
ending
part.
part. But I'm the only man here. So, like I said, we're learning from each other at this point, right? And a lot of times we don't get to talk about men being educated about the female body.
Oh yes.
Because
I was just thinking about that today.
Right. I don't think, because from talking to my female friends, so she knows, we talk about everything. I have friends that's females that we talk about and whatever topic we want to talk about, because I'm able to have female friends.
Right.
So a lot of times you hear them mentioning things and they tell me and educate things about the body and how the body works as a female. And I'm like, I didn't know all that. So what are some things that the guy has to know? Because I recently learned about, I always heard about the pH balance thing. I always hear about, the different functions of the female body that I think a man is supposed to know. So what are some things that you would teach a guy that he needs to know about the female body?
Okay, so not just, it's body, mind, it's just, the body, mind, soul.
It's connected.
It's all of that you have to understand about a woman. And then the first thing I think men should stop doing, I'm not gonna say stop, because I'm not against porn. I'm not against somebody just watching porn. We need to stop relating that to real life. You can just go into that as a fantasy, as whatever, enjoy yourself, watch it, whatever.
Able to separate it.
You have to be able to separate what you see in that world. Because like me, I always teach that to my work. I always say my work is for my dreams and fantasies. What you see on my page is the woman that I see in my head that I want to be sensually. That's not who I am in everyday life. That's what I step into when I want to be sensual. Okay? So that's like a tiny part of me. There's so much of me that you guys don't know. So I teach my fans, my followers that. So every man should do that as well. Like a woman is not just her body. That bothers me when we just see women just as, the physical form. We are more than that. So a man should try to learn about how women think, how we think, how a body function,
The body functions is what I'm asking about.
Yes, body function when it comes to ovulation, understand the cycle. When it be like, even me, I still get confused from time to time about my cycle and understanding it because it's different every time. But there's basic ways to understand the cycle. For some women it's 31 days, for a certain woman it's 28 days, and there's a time in the month when we're not feeling together, we're depressed or like tired. That's before we get our period, that's that time. And after our period, we get like more excited, more hot, more like, you know what I'm saying? So all of that you need to understand. So that's gonna help you understand our moods. Right. When we feel down or excited, that's one thing that can help them understand a woman.
Also for men, there's things that like women also need to understand. When you speak about not just the body, that's our first attraction. That's the first thing we're attracted to.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. We don't see a woman across the room and be attracted to their mind across the room. We see your body first. We see your face first. We see how you dress, how you walk, how you talk. Like, that's what we see first. Right?
I feel
that's
like
what we're attracted to.
That.
Right. And then afterwards, we're going to get the mind part. Right. But like we talk about all the time, men are very simple creatures. We see what we want, and that's what first thing we see. I've met women that they look good, they open their mouth, and I'm like, not you. No. So I feel like the looks is the attraction, and then afterwards. For me, I don't know about anybody else, the mind comes after.
Okay.
Then you get attracted to the mind. Sometimes even the energy. Because we talk about a woman walking in the room and then the whole aura of the room changes. You get what I'm saying? Some women walk in the room and it just becomes dark.
It's true. I've witnessed that. But yeah, I think those little basics. I follow this guy. I think I'm gonna give you his page since you're into that. He talks a lot about that. His IG is Rising Masculinity, where he teaches men how to understand women and like the cycle, the body, the like mind. And I think he's a very great person to follow. And if you want to learn about that, I'm gonna give you his IG. So like there's also like understanding hygiene, how you should maintain yourself.
That's very important.
A lot of men don't understand. You need to be clean when you're next to your woman. You need to maintain yourself, like your hands, your nails need to be clean, especially when you want to do certain things with her sexually. Like your hygiene and how you maintain yourself can affect her. How you maintain your private part that can affect her sexually. We can get like infections from you.
Right.
So like I don't think men understand how deeply that is. How significant it is to understand that you have to take care of yourself as well. It's not just us. We always have to work out and like maintain our body. You have to understand the hygiene and also the female hygiene and how our body cleanses itself. You have to understand our private part, like what is the vulva, where things are located, right? Like you have to. So we understand your part. You have to do your part as well to understand our like vagina, our vulva, like what is it, where to touch us, where are the zones, sensual erogenous zones. Like come on. You guys want us to learn everything about you guys, but like when it comes to us, what do you know about the female body? Let me tell you something. I started posting on my Snapchat vulva So many. I was talking
Now
about
you gotta
vulva.
go into that now.
So many men were lost. Oh my God, what's vulva? What you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know.
on,
Come
you
on,
guys.
tell me what's going
Come
on
on.
with the vulva. Who is she?
The vulva is like if a woman wants to spread her legs, like basically the vulva is what you see. Where the clitoris is where the
view.
lips are. So it's, you'll see like the urethra, like where the pee comes out. Like you will see all that, all the beautiful. I call
That
it
flower.
constellation.
It's like a flower to me.
You'll see our universe. The universe of the portal. Right? Like this is our portal. Like learn it, understand it, know where the stars are. This is why I talk about the vulva. I feel like it's a universe and there's different stars, and then you learn about the stars. So understand
Listen, life
where
comes
things
through there.
are.
You
Like-
can go a little bit more information. 'Cause
Life
we're trying to
comes-
learn here. We're
Right, so
trying to learn,
Basically, when the woman opens her legs, right? Like the first thing you see is the lips, like, but the clitoris is usually at the top. Like the first thing you see is the clitoris at the
That's very
very
important,
top
guys, by the way.
of
All right.
the vagina.
Don't skip
the
over that.
vulva.
Don't skip over that.
So,
Yeah, the part
and
at the
when
top
we
right
talk
there,
about
don't skip over that.
vagina, it's not, the vagina is when your penis goes in. It's not, the vagina is not the front of the.
Okay, so we think it's the outside.
No.
Okay.
The vagina is the inside.
Okay.
If you're to finger her, it's like if you're finger of vagina, like you're
Okay.
entering your finger inside of a vagina. So that's what it is. Okay. So yeah, these are the very basic, and I'm not, how do they call these people?
Sex coach.
Sex coach to say, but I understand the very basics of like.
But that's what a lot of men don't know. 'Cause
the basics needs to be understood though.
I might know like what you're talking about, but a lot of men
They don't know.
have no idea what you're just talking
Exactly, and
about.
this is why, like, to be sensual to your woman, that's another thing, you have to know these things. Because there's ways you can touch her. This is why I say I like erotic massages, because you
touch
touch
everything
your
but the-
vulva,
yeah.
you feel it. You don't
Hey, listen,
actually.
a lot of us don't have the constraint to be doing it, and not jump. Hey, I'm ready to go.
No,
Come on, it was taking too long.
Right, like we listen. No. Let's hold up here.
Oh, God.
Listen, it's important to do these things. These are the things that's gonna give your woman extreme pleasure. If you're patient enough to arouse her, you're gonna hear that woman scream like she's losing her mind. Like,
Okay, let me write that down too.
because you took the time. Patience is very big in getting her to climax. Being patient, like hearing the cues, like understanding her body, how she's moving, like the moan she's making. So that's very important. If you can really get intimate to that level and be erotic with your woman, touch her in a certain way, especially do like erotic massages, like get deep into it. Like that is, listen, 5 minutes. That's all you need.
I always tell
5 minutes.
I always
Hey,
tell
I'm
my
Some
learning,
music, get into
So music
it.
is a part of that sensuality
Get some
too.
music, like you gotta set the mood.
mood, yeah.
The mood is a big thing. We didn't talk about that, but the mood also.
Because
brings you
I'm a
there.
music person, like I'm a DJ, but
Okay.
I listen to a variety of music.
Of music,
My
okay.
favorite music is R&B. R&B, reggae are my two favorite genres of music. So for me, in any mood, I think music not only sets the mood but maintains it.
True.
So guys, get into it. Trust me. The slow music, it makes a difference.
It does. It does.
I always tell I learned this from an OG back in the day. And he was like, man, you gotta touch everywhere but her vagina.
I don't know about all that.
No, but I'm saying before the intercourse.
Before you get to
Like, if you embrace her
I get
whole
that.
body, because a lot of men go straight to touching the vagina,
Listen,
the
let me tell you,
vulva.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, like you.
Hey, listen.
I
to.
don't enjoy that at all.
Let me tell you
At
something.
all.
I was a young boy, okay? And I'm gonna tell you this: when you're so aroused by somebody, or you're in that moment, sometimes as a man you're not even thinking.
But that's where that discipline
I'm gonna give
comes.
you two
Right.
books.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you two books.
So that's why not for me, no, because I'm there now. I understand it now.
But that book has certain things that even now it'll be useful for
Right.
you.
That's right.
Like you can learn so much from that book. I'm reading as a woman to understand the male body.
Okay.
Like it's a very good book. I think it's called The Love of Tao and Sex. something like that.
Yeah, but
very
because a
big.
lot of times, like I said, from the mindset of a man, if you like, so a lot of times, like a man watch this right now and be like, yo, that makes sense. He never even thought about that because a lot of times the woman does not communicate that and say.
A lot of women don't know their bodies too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's not the fault of the men. A lot of times I've talked to women that never knew a lot of things, even about their own body, because there's nobody to teach them that.
ECS Entertainment Group presents the Art of Reggae Music Festival, Mother's Day, Sunday, May the 14th, 2023, at the Arts Park at Young Circle, 1 Young Circle, Hollywood, Florida, featuring live on stage, Wayne Wonder, Romaine Virgo, from the Heptones, Leroy Sibbles, Glenn Washington,
let's rise and shine and give Jah the glory.
and the group called Lust, featuring Lukey D, Thriller U, Singing Melody, and Tony Curtis. It's all hosted by Barry Hype and Jody Ann Gray. Music is by Super Twitch, Jazzy T, Champion Squad, Ecstatic Sound, Eccentric Sound, and DJ Ishenta Days. That's the second annual Art of Reggae Music Festival, May 14, 2023, and it's a family fun day event. Children under 12 are free. Online pre-sold tickets are available at theartofreggaefestival.com. It's the Art of Reggae Music Festival, Sunday, May the 14th, 2023.
They feel ashamed to even like look at their vulva. You know, some women don't want to look at it. That's what I did last year. My whole work was about that. My whole work was about exploring my body and exploring like my sexual self. Not having sex, just exploring it. And this is what I had on my OnlyFans. Like I explore myself, shared it with my top fans. Now, on my OnlyFans, I only share my erotic stuff with my top fans. If I had 20 top fans, I sell that work to them. I show them everything. So like I was very open because I really wanted to learn. I read books where women are telling you, you have to do that work. As a woman, you have to learn your body. You have to connect to yourself. You're gonna tap into another energy. Let me tell you, I tapped into it. I became so confident. I didn't understand where it came from. And it wasn't because I was working out, I was eating well. It was because I tapped into my inner goddess. Yeah. Like connected with my body, my whole, private part. Like I connected to that part. And it's crazy how we don't believe that this is where we come from. This is where we all come from. The womb, the vagina. The vagina is a powerful organ. And women have to learn to connect to it.
That's why we're
not like in a sexual way only, like learn it, touch it, massage it, take care of it because it's powerful. Once you take care of that part of you, I feel like as a woman, you've done a great part into like your reaching your higher self.
I was gonna ask a question, but we're gonna leave that for another time. But
What question you gonna ask?
no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's gonna go.
Because it looked like you was thinking it was a good one, so I was looking at you.
She said she kind of said touch it, but never mind.
Yes, you have. You must touch it and feel it's yours. Why not?
Hey, listen. Okay. So this is your art, right?
Yes.
Shani, you want to hold the other one?
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
I wanted to hold this one anyways.
Anyways,
You like
so
that
this
one?
is your art. So basically, this is what a muse basically does. You didn't paint it, but you're the muse. You're the one who poses for the art, and the artist did a great job.
He is. His name is Pictor Mullier. He's from
Pronounce that again.
Pictor. You can say Pictor.
Pictor. That's his name.
Yeah, Pictor
What's his last name?
Mullier.
Wow, that's
In English, you would say
artistic
Molière.
name.
Molière, I believe. In English.
Yeah, I want to go to France because of how everything is just they speak sexual and the name sexual, every fucking thing over there.
I want somebody to paint me like this.
I don't want to be painted like this. It's a woman thing.
Oh yeah, it's
You could forget
something
what
I've always
woman.
wanted this. I'm so let me just say this as I'm here. I'm so proud. In what year was that? I forgot the year. 2017, 2016, I didn't have none of these things. And I wanted to be a muse so badly. I remembered I used to dream about that at night. I used to think about it so deeply, and like my dream is real. I want to say that, like my dream of becoming a muse has happened, is real, so I'm happy.
So if someone wants to purchase these pictures, where can they go to find it?
Oh, so those will be on my website.
Your website?
My e-commerce, which
Give
I'm
your website a
building
shout
right
out. Plug.
My website is femmedusoir.com. Is going to be published.
He's gonna write it down here.
Femmedusoir.com. So the new website is gonna be published by the end of this month.
Okay.
So we're working on it right now, and I'm gonna show it to you guys when I'm done. It's really dope. But my e-commerce website is also gonna be up before the end of the summer, and this is when I'm gonna have my art published on there. So we're building like a collection of sensual art about my style as a muse. And he's such a great artist. He's been doing it for a year. So what we do is he paints like 4, and he gives me two copies, and he keeps 2.
Okay.
So he can sell his and I can sell mine.
Nice.
So we have like,
So we're talking about your rebranding.
Yeah.
So,
talk to us about that.
you know, as I said before, I was a muse, worked with artists, one of the best time of my life. Worked with multiple artists in Manhattan, in New York. I had live nude shows, fun time. Then I moved there. I was in New York at first. I moved there, and the time that I moved there, that's when I became a sensual creator. So I did that during COVID, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. I was a sensual creator, created like the work you saw on my Instagram, very sensual. And last year was when I stepped into like my erotic work, where I connected with my entire body sexually, and I took pictures of it. So this was my erotic work. So now, being that I was in that world for that long, and I understand the struggle of people like me, like sensual creators like me, and what I went through. Like I went through a lot of censorship. I lost so many of my Facebook pages. I never lost my IG, thank God, because that's where I have all my fans. But like it was a lot of struggles to promote myself, promote my work, because it was always seen as sexual, not sensual. So it was just a lot of confusion. So, and also I grew a lot of new followers who want to learn about sensuality, want to connect to their body. So I'm like, you know what? I have to evolve as a brand. I want to become the founder of Femme du Soir, which will be about sensual lifestyle. I want to teach sensual creators how to, create their brands, their brand. I want to teach women how to connect to their body sensually. I want to do like courses and like have all these resources available to people like me. Because I remember the girl who started like 5-6 years ago. I had no support. No one in my family supported me. I had no like backbone. I had like one mentor. He was there for like 1 or 2 years, but the whole path was very, very lonely. I'm now starting to have like the support and love that I deserve, because it was a hard path. And I figured it out. This is why I had this ebook, because I'm telling women the way I did it. Because everybody, when you do this type of work, people think it's only porn, which is, listen, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, we can get into that another day.
Right.
But like, every industry needs, this little highlight to explain like what goes on behind the scenes, so people can understand more.
That's why
when we don't know, right? This is why I'm here. I want to educate people. So like I did my own path. I paved my own path. Like, became a muse, sensual creator, and now with all the experiences, all the people that I've met, I'm able to understand what someone starting now would definitely want. Like, what would they desire? I understand their struggles. I understand, why they might want to connect to their body. There's a lot of trauma that I had to overcome as well. Like, I was so insecure with my body, like my size. I didn't like it. And now look at me. I overcame all of that because of my work.
Right.
Like, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't have to be liked by everybody. I'm comfortable. I love myself as I am. And I'm very confident that this is like my dream.
Yeah.
And then God has blessed me to do this for the next 10, 20 years. Like, I know this is going to be it for me.
And it seems you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
Now, when you painted these, when the artist painted this, were you still
The
for
whole
this, or did he take a photo and then
it was a
repaint
photo.
it? Okay.
Okay.
So I have some when I actually work out, because I used to work as a muse. I did it for 3 years. I work Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week, I was naked every day. Every single day I was naked in front of people working. Like I was like, it was like nudity was just nothing to me. It's still now, like they would be like, okay, you ready to pose? And I would just remove my robe and pose, like in front of a lot of people. And I would just sit and pose. And I have those pictures I can show you guys afterwards. Yeah.
If you do classes, let me know because I want to do one of these.
Just look at you.
So that was my life and this is what helped me overcome my insecurities. I was nude in front of so many people at once and they loved me. Let me tell you, those people love me. It wasn't like, oh, look at her boobs, look at her butt.
There's
it was
power
just like
there.
Me. They saw
I love
me.
all of you.
So that really made me love myself. I'm like, why these people love me so much and I cannot see my own beauty in my body?
In the African cultures, a lot of the women dress nude.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Nude, and it's a sign of strength.
That's what they said.
So, like this work is what brought me closer to myself and loving myself deeper.
Yeah.
And not just seeing my body as like a sexual thing, seeing my body as the like an ensemble of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
So now we're gonna get into.
Yeah. So we are. Thank you so much.
You welcome.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Trust me, we do.
We love that.
We're not done yet. We got 2 more segments,
and then we will be wrapping
it up.
So we're gonna get into Stretch's Corner, and we are talking about a viral clip that went on this week.
So this week I saw a video that came across. I was on Twitter, and then Shan actually sent it to me because I saw the first clip and I was like, I'm not even gonna watch that because I've seen too many instances like that, and after I was just over it. I saw it. I'm over it. But basically, the guy was supposed to take the girl on the second date, right? And instead of taking her out to Capitol Grill, he cooked for her.
Okay, that's nice.
At the house. She went off. She was like, you said you was gonna take me to Capitol Grill and you cooked this food for me? I don't want this. You need to do what you say you was gonna do.
She criticized his food.
Everything. She was saying she don't want that. She wanna go to Capitol Grill.
I don't even know what Capitol Grill is.
It's a fancy restaurant.
It's a fancy restaurant, okay.
So basically, she wanted to go there and not eat his cooking. So he's basically saying, I put the work in here, I went the extra mile to make sure I prepared this food.
Did it look good?
Yeah, the food looked good. She did steak and mashed potatoes and broccoli and stuff. The plate looked good. I don't eat that stuff, but it looked good from the video. And she was complaining the whole time she wanted to go to Capitol Grill. Now I'm wondering, what the hell is that Capitol Grill? But I feel like social media has ruined so much. Like that. If I cook for you, you better praise me for that because I don't cook for nobody. I hate the kitchen.
There's two sides to it. There's two sides. Like, I always try to see those two sides. If it was a promise, you promise a person you would do that and they get ready, they do the hair, that I would be a little disappointed.
That's the whole thing.
That's one side of it.
Going to a fancy restaurant.
It doesn't even matter to me personally.
That's one side of it. But if I come in and I see that you did a very nice cooking for me and you put your heart into it, I will definitely appreciate it. And I think the problem with social media is like we're selling this luxury lifestyle and everybody wants to show that they living luxuriously. Like even me, I'm gonna promote living. I think we should all live luxurious, like a luxurious lifestyle. But I don't think the way we're promoting it online is really doing any good to us.
It's not,
because we're forgetting about the little things that matters.
The thing is, I gave this advice
like we're forgetting about that
I'm going to give again. A woman that appreciates everything will get anything.
Yeah.
That's period.
That is true.
Because if I cook for you and you walk in and you're so surprised and overjoyed by it, I feel good about that. I feel like I would do anything for you at this point. If I take you, not that I would, if I take you to a McDonald's and you're happy to just be in my presence, to enjoy my company here, if I have the money to take you to Paris to have dinner, I would, because you appreciated the little I could have done for you.
Right.
Now, regardless if I promise you to take you to Roof Chris or wherever, right? And you walk in, you see candlelit, you see dinners made at my house, prepared for you, especially not a family dinner that I took someone and gave it to you. This is prepared for you and me to enjoy. Why would you sit there the whole time complaining about that, wanting to go somewhere else?
So I read the comments, and a lot of people were actually in her defense. A lot of people were saying because it was their second date that bringing a woman to your house, a lot of women are probably not comfortable with it, right? And that, yes, maybe that can be true, and you know, I get it. But I think it was her behavior that made it so horrible.
Exactly.
You know, it was more so she was literally acting like a 16-year-old, and she didn't get her 16th birthday.
She basically throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. It was very immature. She's young. It looked like she was.
If she had communicated that, hey, listen, it's your second date. I'm not comfortable with being in your house alone.
Right.
That is totally different.
I want to see that video now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that is totally different because she was just going off. You need to take me to Capitol Grill. And she's very, very specific about where she wants to go.
Right.
So for me, it was like, if you're not comfortable just being in the person's space, like that conversation went on for like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way too long. If you were uncomfortable being alone or in that space with him, that conversation shouldn't have went on that long. You should have came in there, saw that, and be like, no, this is not what we planned. Let's go somewhere else. And if we can't go, like, I'm just gonna leave. But you sat around his table with the food in front of you, complaining about it the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would. Even like younger me wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I don't think I would. I wouldn't show that I'm upset in the moment. I would just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And then say it,
next time.
afterwards.
Yeah.
For me,
next time we could have done something different.
For me, honesty.
Say we're doing something, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Because like my heart is already into that. Like, but I would enjoy the moment. Like.
For me, honesty is always the best policy for me. And if you walk in and you're like, all right, I'm not comfortable with this because it's our second date. I don't want to be alone. Let's go somewhere public. I'll be like, okay, I understand. That's totally fine. But if you walk in here you're like, what is this?
And just giving attitude and really,
You know.
But the guy is kind of still wrong. If you promise something to someone, I think you should do it. I think her probably reaction.
It was her reaction.
That makes it
the reaction
worse.
is my problem.
Yeah.
But it's a double standard because if I promise to take you to Capitol Grill and I take you to Paris, you ain't complaining.
If you take it somewhere better.
Exactly, you ain't complaining.
That's
so I don't
true.
think that has nothing to do with the promise.
Yeah.
Because I could have promised you to take you to McDonald's and I take you to Roof Chris.
Yeah, or if that restaurant was.
This is why like I don't share certain things on social media because I feel like, everybody's sharing all these things and you feel like you should have that too. You should be able to. I don't have to. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to let things happen for me, or I'll create things. Like, I'll create the lifestyle that I want. I'll let it happen when it happens. I feel like everybody's trying to, like, show that they are, living this life.
Perfect, basically.
And it's just...
It's toxic.
Listen, it's not always real. It's
Very
not always,
toxic.
So I learned that in the early stages of social media. What you see ain't what else
It ain't what I was going to get.
Like, I tell people that, like, my work is not who you're going to see when you meet me. Like, you really have to set up a set, like, have me in a setting to see me like that. Like, that is my fantasy that you're seeing. That's, like, who I am in my head. When I close my eyes, I'm thinking about my sensual self. That's who I am.
So it's
not like my real life 100%.
So would you guys consider that a perfect date, though? First or second date, third, a perfect date, the guy invites you over, cook for you.
I've had that on like the third date.
I think that's cute. That's what you should. Something that
I like it.
would
But does
want
it have
someone
to be
do
the
for
third?
me.
Can it be the first?
No, cannot.
Okay.
That's given. But that's another thing that they said. Like he could have planned it. He said, "Oh, I'm going to cook this meal for her. She's going to love it. And she's going to give it up." A lot of men think that way. A lot of
men do. But at the same time, if you're dating somebody and you think he's like that, I don't think you should even want to have anything.
Well,
with
some
that
women
person.
don't want to be forced. Even if you like them, the man can still switch and just kind of force it.
True. Because it's a strategy if you think about it.
Yeah.
To get you alone in the space.
Right.
It's a strategy, but I think just communicate. That's what I would say.
Definitely communicate about it.
Because like she said, he could be wrong in the situation by telling her, hey, get dressed, we're going to Capitol Grill. Where is this Capitol Grill?
I gotta find out. I don't even know what word.
And then you come and now you come see me shirtless with a rose in my mouth and it's a whole nother ball game.
No.
Oh my gosh. So Yeah, you guys, just be mindful when you date and get to know your person that you're dating, you know? Don't just think to do your stuff.
And ladies, try to be in a public place for your first, at least for your first date, be in a public place.
I always say that.
Yeah, first two.
Or you can pick the location you want to go.
Yeah.
Say, I
don't think a lot of women don't like to do that. Pick the location.
Yeah,
a lot of women don't. That's
like
a lot of women just want to be picked up, open the door for them, you know.
I want to go where I'm going. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know.
You can know where you're going, but
the man will choose the place.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Too. You know, I could also say, I like this person. If you don't choose it, that's fine. But I want to let you know.
And ladies, chivalry is not dead.
It's not.
You just have to require it. You just have to require that. Mm-hmm. Make sure. If that doesn't happen, then that's a dub, basically.
You know, I kind of got upset at a guy at one point that didn't want to open the door for me. And I was like,
Because you require it.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Yeah, you have to require."
A lot of women don't require it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I'm like,
what we have to do? What do we have? Why we have to require?
Because think about this, right?
I thought it was something that would happen naturally.
Hold on. No, think about this.
Not every man don't
think
have
about
that.
this. A lot of women don't even know these things. If I take you out, right? I open the door for you, you sit down. Now when we're coming out of the car, you don't even wait for me to come open the door. You're already out the car before me. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of women don't know that. A lot of women, I'm like, yo, sit down, walk around, open the door. They open the door and get out before I even get to the outside of the car. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. A lot of times you have to just require it and understand that this is what's supposed to happen.
I don't think it's fun when I have to say that I want it. That's just me.
No, but the thing is, like I said, sometimes we aren't even allowed to do it. We don't even get the chance. You get what I'm saying? I've really dated women that they got to the car before me and opened the door and went inside themselves.
Maybe you should say it, honey. For a first date, please let me.
No, but what I'm trying to explain to you, a lot of times, like we talked about even walking on the right side of the road. A lot of women don't know that. So I have to be like, no, you're supposed to walk on this side. Because a man has never taught them that or given them that treatment, so you don't require it from anybody else. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's not that. Yes, you have to communicate what you want with somebody. That's why communication is very important. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You might think you're supposed to know. A lot of times we don't. And if you require it, then now we have to give that to you.
We're going to do an episode on dating etiquette.
Yes,
we need
important.
that. Yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
All right, so. Hey everyone, we are taking a quick break to let you know about Skyless Hair Studio located right here in Tamarack, Florida. So if you're in town and if you know anyone that need any hair services, we specialize in healthy hair care, extensions, cuts, colors, and pretty much everything except for braiding. So reach out to us, Skyless Hair Studios, here in Tamarack, Florida. Let's wrap it up with the quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, quality is not an act, it is a habit.
So I always say you can act the whole time. Mm-hmm. You're gonna make a mistake, and I'm gonna see who the real you is. Mm-hmm. All the time.
True.
And so if you're a quality person, if you have certain values and certain morals, you can't fake that. Because I'm gonna know. You're gonna be put in some situations that's gonna be tested. Mm-hmm. And you have to show me that you're gonna uphold that quality. You're gonna uphold that moral. You're gonna uphold that standard.
Exactly.
You're gonna be put in position where you have no choice. You claim to be a humble person, but when you get into altercation, the humbleness goes out the door.
It's all about being self-aware.
That's the thing. Exactly. So I feel like the act nowadays, the social media makes a lot of people look like or act like or pretend like. You know what I'm saying? I've met people I look up to, and I don't look up to them anymore. So the thing is, like I said,
that's deep.
Yeah, I've met people I look up to, and I look at them like I never want to meet you again.
I was watching this guy who's like, it's better to just show who you are, document your real life, and then show it on social media, than trying to like become something and show it on social media. Like, I think that was a good advice that I followed. Like, if you hear me speak on my social media, you see my videos, you meet me in person, I am exactly who I've shown. I'm so happy. I never tried to be anything more than that. So I don't know where this came from, but a lot of people are not who they are.
Oh, we know that.
A lot of them are not who they are. I'm not sure why.
Because the more comfortable I was with being who I am around anybody. Because when I used to go to business meetings where I had to dress up, my business partner used to cuss me out so much. Because I would go just like this. I would go in my sneakers and jeans like this. He'd be like, yo, you can't meet people like this. You know, and I would meet them same people and they would be like, oh, I love the fact that you just come as you are. And he'd be surprised to see that. I'm like, yo, I'm just this dude. You get what I'm saying? Like, I go anywhere. I'm able to put my slides on and walk anywhere in my slides. I don't care. I travel in my slides. I don't care because that's who I am. I don't put on, and that's why you can't use me against me.
Exactly.
You cannot.
You're you.
I'm always going to be
You're
me.
you. This is me. Like, even my work, my whole work was about finding myself, like loving myself, knowing who I am. So even back then when people used to praise me and say, oh my God,
I've put these black toenails online. I don't care.
People used to praise me and say, oh, you're a goddess, you're this. I felt like I was not at that level yet, but you know, I appreciated the comments, but I was still working on myself. Now I feel like that, but back then I was learning myself. I was using my art to learn myself, to connect to myself. So it's a process. Like, we can just become this super likable person overnight. Everybody's following us, and then we're superstars. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Even if it happens that way, these people following you still don't know you.
Right.
And
They still don't know you.
To flip this in another way, right? When we talk about quality, we talk about a quality person. They always say quality over quantity, right? When we talk about quality person, you have to have a certain level of, I would say, importance, because you're able to be used in different spaces.
Exactly.
You're a quality person. So if people value you, that's the word I was looking for. You're valuable. You get what I'm saying? If you're a person, they always say, if you cannot be used, you're useless.
Yeah.
So you have to build yourself up to be that person that you're of some value. You're a quality person. Now, I could there's spaces you could go in and you get 10 women and you put them in one space. Like 10 women here and 1 woman here. And this 1 woman has more quality than these 10 women. And that's why they always say quality over quantity.
I agree with that.
I love that quote a lot, especially in my path right now, or my phase that I am in right now. I said that this year would be about worth and values. And this year is about staying ready and mastering myself. And I feel like I am really doing that. I'm the best self I've ever been. Like, this is the best version of me. I don't know, maybe I'll get better and better, but like from all those years, like before, this is the best self. Like, I've done the work, I've healed myself, you know, I've healed from trauma, you know, like I feel like I'm very, you know, valued.
Yeah.
And love for who I am, and people see the growth, the work. It's not like it was fake. Like, if you're following me for years before, now I have pictures of my Instagram of how I used to look over the years, and I photograph it because I wanted to remember who I used to be, and like to see the growth and how even now who I'm going to be is gonna even be greater. It's like, it's beautiful to watch that, and like this year I love this quote because it's you know it really, you know, summarize the year for me, what it is about, which is about valuing myself, being a person of worth, you know, knowing my value, knowing what I stand for. So. And
not accepting anything less than
that.
Another thing is that with what I thought about is, I always use the analogy, the iguana analogy, right? Being a chameleon. And a lot of the times we can be a chameleon in a good way and in a bad way, right? So like you said, you can be yourself. You know you did that internal work to know who Stretch is.
Exactly.
And you could go into any group and still remain and
your
not be seen as anything else. But there's a lot of people that try to fit in, right? And
that's
they try to be a chameleon, right? In the wrong ways.
I had that moment in life where I was trying to fit in.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to go through that to learn yourself that, okay, this is not.
Yeah, for me that was high school.
Yeah,
that was high school.
That never fit in me. I never fit in. I never changed myself. I used to sit in the corner like far away
I did
from
all of that. I did all of that. Like,
I never tried to fit in.
So with being Jamaican, you're forced to be a part of a culture. We're culture driven. So we're driven by trends. We're driven by habits, stuff like that. So if a certain type of clothes is wearing, you're
Going to try to wear
influenced
it.
to do that. A certain type of hairstyle is wearing, that's what you're forced to do.
I see.
And you want to be a part of something. You know what I'm saying? It's not always bad because you're cultured. But sometimes if you follow popular culture, sometimes you lose yourself. So that's why I was sure not to do. I didn't lose myself in all that. You know, I was a part of culture, but still not lose myself.
And it's safe to say that it's okay to go through that because within that you learn yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know?
You know what you like and what you don't like.
Exactly.
And learn what you learn to accept and what you won't accept.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean.
Beautiful quote.
I love it.
I like it now.
Use it though.
I didn't want to use. I wanted a sensual quote,
Look at
guys.
you.
But
Yeah.
It's a good quote.
Made it work.
It fits, you know, I think it fits, especially like where I am in my life right now. It fits it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
Take
Jadelle,
us out,
I want to
stretch it.
thank you very, very, very. I cannot pronounce your last name.
Diverso.
Diverso.
Yeah.
So Jadelle
Diverso.
Diverso.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also, guys, her ebook, The Successful Art Model, Tips and Tools for Art Models. So, if you want to get into the muse and the sensual lifestyle, art, beautiful
Greatness
art.
in here too.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was gonna show you the one when I was closing. I wanna show that one.
Plug your Instagram while we're at it.
Femme Soir LLC. This is
You're
me when
gonna
I'm
have to
closing.
spell that.
Show it to the camera.
Okay, here she goes. She's posing as a muse
It
here.
was, yeah.
And
that worked.
The artist is painting her hair and she's here posing for the picture. That's great. man.
Beautiful.
Yes, that's great.
Wow.
So plug your Instagram. You're gonna have to spell
So
that.
it's FEMME, D as in David, USOIR LLC.
So I'm sure King's Creations will drop that somewhere down.
Okay, very good.
Shout out to King's Creation.
So once again, I want to thank you for coming through. I learned a lot today.
Yes.
I don't
I
understand.
enjoyed
but
it.
learned a lot
I
today.
enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
The conversation today was
You guys
great.
were very open-minded and like receptive to what I'm
Yes,
saying.
we
Thank
want to make
I
you
love
feel
that.
welcome and feel comfortable. And once again, thank you for coming. And this is the Student to Life podcast where learning and unlearning has no limits. So guys, I won't say, I'm not going to stop saying it. Not only watch, interact, subscribe. Everybody that's watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you even start watching. If you like it, give us a like.
Share it.
Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Instagram at Student to Life Podcast. Now, next week, we're going to have a very interesting episode. So y'all tune in for that. So, once again, this is the Student to Life Podcast where learning and unlearning has no limits. We will see you guys again next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.
Yay.